Welcome to Pokemon Movie Club. This week we are talking about Arceus and the Jewel of Life. I am Marty and I am joined by Birdkeeper Toby.
Hello.
And over in the corner of the room, Cerebi Joe.
Hello.
Now, Joe's not here because there is a 24-hour Pokemon live stream going on right now where they are showing us potentially new Pokemon and some returning Pokemon in a forest live stream, which is very, very quick. You blink and you miss it. Now, we had originally hoped to have Joe on his surface here, but because of how quick these appearances are, it wouldn't have worked out. So Joe's gonna pipe in every now and then from the other side of the room. Be warned, this show will contain spoilers if you have not seen the movie, so please go away and watch it if that bothers you, and come back and rewatch this on YouTube when you have seen it. And as always, we're not watching the film right now, we're just simply discussing it like a book club. And you can find the Pokemon movies on various sites such as Amazon Prime, Google Play, iTunes, Netflix, and occasionally Pokemon TV. You can buy them on Blu-ray and DVD, produced by Manga UK here in the UK and Viz over in America. Also, if you'd rather read the movie, you can get the manga both physically and digitally as well. Can you tell I've got a script now?
I can, yeah.
At least I know, and I can remember what to say and when to say it. Okay, so this is movie number, Joe. 12. And when did it come out, Joe? And what's the place in the timeline?
It came out on...
And raise your voice just a little bit in case it doesn't pick up.
Okay, I would, but you were talking over me. Okay, it came out around July 18th, 2009, shortly after Ash defeated the 7th Gym of Sinnoh. It was 2 months before the release of Heart Gold and Soul Silver in Japan.
There's definitely elements of promotion for
yes.
We're in this, right?
Yes, I mean, I guess we can kind of mention it now. There wasn't any new Pokemon, was there, Joe? I didn't pick up on anything new. Like, we knew about Arceus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And was there a movie distribution for this? Like, was the Flute Heart Gold Soul Silver?
Or the Azure Flute was never distributed.
It was never distributed. Was it just a straight up giveaway for it?
Yes.
Yeah. And there was no new Pokemon. However, because it was very close to the release of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, there were Token, Cyndaquil, Chikorita, and Totodile in the film.
They didn't
really do an awful lot, but it's like, okay, we get it. Heart Gold, Soul Silver's coming out soon. Okay, right, so I've got to do the dramatic reading because Joe is over there. I really hope I'm recording. Cool. Long ago, Arceus granted a fragment of its awesome power to help the town of Machina in its hour of need, only to be betrayed when it was time for that power to be returned. Now Arceus, enraged, vengeful, and seemingly unstoppable, has returned to reclaim that stolen power. Ash and companions may have discovered a way to set things right, but will they have time to return the Jewel of Life before Arceus destroys everything and everyone they've ever known? Well, I got a bit deep at the end of it. Oof. Blimey. Yeah, so where to start with this film? Yeah, it's a good one.
I have first opening notes. They did the Welcome to the World of Pokemon.
Yes.
And there was a couple cool little things in there.
Cynthia versus Palmer.
Which was wicked. That was cool.
It was quite fun because when we were watching World of Pokemon, we saw the Milotic and Garchomp, and I joked, oh, it's Cynthia, because I couldn't remember. I've not seen this film in a hot minute. And because I believe Cynthia has a Milotic as well, doesn't she?
She also has a Milotic,
yeah. Because I was like, what is like Cynthia fighting herself? But no,
I
but
thought
it was Cynthia though.
But they also in that opening. First of all, I actually think that's the best welcome to the world of
Thank you.
Pokemon.
I was totally gonna say that.
Intro.
It was a really good one. Yes,
The
I think
animation
they've got
was just
it at this
gorgeous.
point. Like
Yeah.
they've nailed it. It took 10 years, but they got it.
They got there eventually.
I mean, no,
And-
12 years.
And I reckon there was something really cool in there where the guy who's doing the voice, the narration, says there are hundreds of different kinds of Pokemon. Thousands is the more likely number. And I'm like, oh, we're actually getting to that point. It's nearly that's cool. We're there. That's awesome.
And it was 10 years ago. So it's taken 10 years to get to. They were saying over thousands of Pokemon then, and now we're at that. But I like that because it's like they know that it was going to go on for a long time and that not all Pokemon had been discovered. So yeah, definitely the best world of Pokemon. Completely agree. So the movie starts with Dialga versus Palkia, and their battle kind of woke up Arceus somehow. There wasn't really much of a 3D establishing shot like they usually do. In fact, they don't use 3D an awful lot in this film, but they did use it at the beginning for the grass because the team were moving through the grass, and
Which I liked.
It looked really good.
They used the 3D animation. It's just animation in general in a really good way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't use it for like big set piece moments, but
No.
this idea of like these cartoon characters stepping out of a almost real life-like CG cornfield, it was just gorgeous. I loved it. I thought they got it so right.
They even like moved in the wind. It wasn't just like a static thing. The animation was really fluid. It wasn't jarring, and it's like they know not to overuse 3D animation at this point, and it just worked. It didn't feel awkward like some of the 3D effects has had. And every time we've been putting on the DVDs, well, yeah, because we watched this one on DVD, obviously. Every time we've been putting them in, Joe's been like, wow, this looks great for DVD. Like, the colours are, like, quite vibrant, and I don't know if that's just a remaster, but it looks really good for an old anime. Like, I don't know, some things don't date so well, but the colours
I thought
look
this
great.
actually aged really well. I thought the animation in particular was just, the drawing was well done. This
Didn't
was
seem
filmed
rushed.
made to last. But like it almost more noticeably so. Whoever the team were working on this, I don't know if it was the same team working on a different on like the last two, but I can't help but feel like it must have been something new happened here.
Yeah. Like, it was brilliant. And obviously this is the final in the trio of films. Like, the last couple, they all linked together for this final film. And you don't really get that with any of the other films. This is the only continuity. Is that the right word? That link into past films.
Story.
I mean, you can watch it standalone, but if you have seen the other two, it makes way more sense. They do kind of touch on what's happened, like when Giratina appears in this film. Giratina remembers Ash and friends because it is the same Giratina as in the previous film. So Ash and friends are having fun splashing about when they meet two trainers and have a tag battle, and all goes well. These two trainers show them the temple ruins area. Then the water starts to go really twirly, and all the Pokemon around run away. And Dialga just randomly appears from a big hole. And then
Was there a reason that Dialga appeared there?
I don't think so.
No, Dialga just shows up.
It just showed up, and then Dialga appeared out of a hole and started fighting. I thought they were all cool again. Like, as the last film, we thought, Giratina kind of
They
chilled
needed
out
a
a bit.
reason for the
Yeah.
events of this film to
And my
happen,
phone's just gone
so-
off. There we go. So they continued to fight, and then the lady just tries to communicate, but with magic, to Giratina, but fails because Giratina's too angry. But then Giratina remembers Ash, and
he calms down.
And we learn.
And that's it. That's the end of the movie.
Kind of.
That's just
No,
done.
not
That's
quite.
it. It's the end of the film.
Not quite, but it was
I didn't
quite an
look
epic
further.
start. We got Dialga and Giratina in there quite early. So we learned that these two other trainers that appear are called Sheena and Kevin, and they are guardians. And they meet the team, and Ash had an electric Pokemon, and she's like, oh, there is tales of a trainer with an electric Pokemon that saves everything. And I've written here, Ash is a prophecy again. But not quite. But we'll get on to
Kind
that.
of, yeah.
Kind of, but not quite, as we'll get on to. And then there's a big bang, and more water appears, and there's a flying 3D tree, which I have written down. And I think
Is this
usually
a good 3D tree or a bad
I
3D
think
tree?
it is a good 3D tree. In fact, I mean, there are many jokes to be made about 3D trees right now, and Joe and I think I remember now we made that joke.
When Sheena and her friend turn up, they refer to them as creature masters.
Creature masters.
A creature and a creature master. And I was like, that's dumb. You live in a world where everyone else calls it Pokemon. Just call it Pokemon.
I don't remember. What was the context of that?
There's several times that back in the past.
In the
specifically,
past,
they call
yeah.
them creatures. They don't call them Pokemon.
They call them
creatures, magical creatures. Magical creatures.
Magical creatures, yeah.
But when first shows up, they also refer to them as magical creatures, and I guess the idea is like, oh, they don't call them Pokemon, like they're really old timey. What's that about? But really, it's just
They know what Pokemon are. I get the going back in time bit and them calling them magical creatures, because the Pokeball probably hadn't been invented yet, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I didn't pick up on Sheena and Kevin saying that at the start.
They do, and it's very, very silly.
So there was a flying 3D tree, which looked really good. And then Palkia appears as well. It's like, oh man, now Palkia's here as well. And Palkia actually saves Dialga. So, go Palkia.
Oh, that's right, and they explained that Dialga and Palkia should never have met.
Yes.
That has thrown everything off.
They were shown in the ruins a axis thing. They call it like a big ornament which shows like a solar system type thing. That's the best way of explaining it. And they explained that the Arceus dimension, he created the world, and he's waking up from his slumber, making Dialga and Palkia. That doesn't make sense. I've got making Dialga and Palkia worlds are colliding, bringing Giratina into conflict as well. Marty, you could have written that better. Basically, the worlds are all colliding, and Arceus not happy with it, and the worlds, they should never all interconnect, really. They should all be separate, but there's a disturbance, and that's why they're all fighting. And we've learned that Arceus actually holds a grudge against humans because many, many years ago, Arceus saved this village from meteors, and in the process lost its life plates, but they were returned to him by this human, and seeing everything destroyed, Arceus combined its plates to make the Jewel of Life, and gave it to the human called Damos. The Jewel of Life restored everything, but Damos didn't give back the jewel, and it attacked Arceus instead, And Arceus was pretty mad about it. And goes away into hibernation to recover until this moment. Then comes back, starts attacking because he's healed up a bit, still has a grudge. Then Dialga, Palkia, they're like, no, Arceus, leave him alone. Then Dialga sends Ash and friends back in time, because they tried to give the Jewel of Life back to Arceus, but it was a counterfeit. So Dialga sent everyone back to try and find out what happened and get the real one. And then we learn that it was all a big misunderstanding, and Deimos was going to give back the jewel, but he was hypnotized.
Have you noticed, by the way, that Deimos is played by the same voice as Entei?
I did not know that. Really?
It's Dan Green who plays Entei. I am Entei. That's Deimos.
I did not know that.
He's also Yugi Moto in Yu-Gi-Oh! But there you go.
I've learnt something else. Just like I've also never really thought about Arceus's Greek origin.
Yeah.
I never really thought. I know obviously it's the almighty / god Pokemon, whatever you want to call him, bringing life and everything. And you ever noticed how his eyes are stuffed Greek olives?
I think that's quite the Greek inspiration that he has.
He's got olive eyes.
I will say, I was not a fan of Arceus having a voice in this.
I even wrote down telepathy, but they didn't play that card. This is a conversation for another time, but apparently Pokemon were all meant to talk. Don't know if that's an urban myth, but that's a conversation we'll definitely have another time after the show, Toby, because we could go on for a long time about that. Literally got Arceus can talk by telepathy.
That's fair. I'll give him that. He is the god of all Pokemon.
It's fair. We will give him that.
I just sort of wish he wasn't voice acted. I reckon if you replaced all of his scenes with weird mechanical / celestial noises, it would have been just as good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also started imitating the Palkia and Dialga cries a bit because they're a bit.
They're cool.
I love their music in the game, but unfortunately that doesn't appear in the film. And then they go back to olden times where they keep saying, "Oh, magical creatures." And it's of course they wouldn't call them Pokemon, would they? Because Pokeballs hadn't been invented yet. So I like how they did that. It makes sense, and I appreciate they thought about that. Dialga transports them through time to see what happened to the real jewel. Not Cheer Pikachu. This is where Not Cheer Pichu is from.
It's cool.
And I don't know why I knew of Not Cheer Pichu. Because it's an event in Hogwarts Silver. And I knew it was from the anime, but then it clicked that it was this one. I have seen this film before, so I watched Not Cheer Pichu doing here. Okay. Not Cheer Pichu helps Pikachu and Piplup escape from captivity in the olden times when they got caught by the bad guy. And then we soon meet Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile. Not really much to say there other than, yes, we know how God Soul Silver's coming out. Joe informs me that Not Cheer Pichu was voiced by Shoko, the presenter of Pokemon Sunday / Pokemon Home / what's it called now?
Pokenchi.
She's
gathering at the Pokemon House. She doesn't run Pokemon Home, which is a free...
Pokemon House. Yeah, the home house. You know what I meant. The Pokemon segment on Japanese TV. She's done a lot of voices. She's the voice of Sylveon as well, isn't she?
Yes.
Yeah, she's
I think she was Spiky at Pichu.
Oh, Joe's checking that now. But she's voiced a lot of Pokemon in the anime, I believe, now. But yeah, Deimos was hypnotized into misleading Entei. And then I've just got eyes are olives.
Yeah, spiky peachy.
But it was just all a big misunderstanding.
Oh, but not in English.
Oh,
They changed it.
oh, that's disappointing. Okay, not in English then. But there's this bad guy, and the bad guy thinks that giving the jewel back to Arceus would ruin everything and everything would die again. But they'd already, like, got things living. They didn't need that jewel anymore. Like, they should have just given it back. But...
Yeah, I find the villain's motivations to be a bit, but whatever. I get it, I guess.
Like, everything's already grown. You don't need it anymore. Why do you think giving it back would suddenly kill everything? Then surely Arceus would just be like, all right, keep it a bit longer. Just so things, like, stay alive. You know? I'd keep him on side, personally. I wouldn't want to deceive a Pokemon of that strength and status, but...
What, so just be like, look, can I keep it a bit longer?
Yeah, like, things haven't grown properly yet. And, like, Arceus, this
You're right,
jewel of
you've
life...
already got the favour of, like, this Pokemon.
Like,
Why
don't
I'm
annoy
doing
it.
I get you,
Give it back, and if things go wrong...
Also, was Nidoking and, like, all these other Pokemon, they were all using Thunderbolt on it, right?
Yeah.
Which obviously Nidoking can learn through TM.
Arceus did... The Jewel of Life was part fire, water, grass,
And
electric, and wasn't it dragon for the... So it couldn't fend itself because it gave part of itself to give the life, so it would have been weak against electric moves at this point, wouldn't it?
But it still has... Yeah, but my issue was not so much that, but, like, where's Nidoking learning an electric move from? Just from TMs?
TM, yeah, must be.
Right, but thousands of years ago is what I'm getting at here. All right.
Don't question it, Toby. Don't think too much. It just is what it is.
It just is what it is. Okay. And then the other thing I thought is that Dialga and Palkia were, like, hitting it with moves, and then it was, like, changing its type to defend off of moves, but I feel like they were dragon moves they were hitting them with. And then it changed its type and was like, look, I'm unaffected. And it's like, what? You don't have Fairy.
It was Hyper Beam,
and it
apparently.
changed into a ghost type.
And it changed into a
All
ghost
right. Alright, okay, fair enough, I see that. Why didn't they just use Raw Time and Spatial Rend? Can't defend against that. Really, kind of. At that point.
I don't know. But, like most Pokemon films, it just come down to, it was just a big misunderstanding, and there was just one bad
A jolly
guy.
good, there's one bad apple who had a Heatran, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. It felt like that was a really small Heatran. I just thought Heatrans were bigger than that.
What have I got written here? Ash? Oh!
Team Rocket didn't really do an awful lot.
Team Rocket did nothing.
Like, they were there, but we don't need to talk about them, really.
Literally the only other note that I've got written that you don't already have is Ash's gymnastic and athletic skill.
Getting up those sticks.
Beyond... There's some things that I'll buy. I'll buy a mouse that can generate electricity from its cheeks. All right, I'm on board with that. I'm okay with that. If it levels up enough, it can totally evolve. I'm good with that. But Ash Ketchum jumping that distance, the physics don't line up.
I even said to Joe watching, I was like, as if, like, they're too high, too narrow. No one would have the balance for that unless you're like an Olympic level gymnast, maybe. Like, and this is a very commonly seen thing with Ash in films, like the what? Oh, I can't remember which one it was when he was jumping on. There was other films where he was jumping on stuff, and it was like he would fall off.
Yeah.
That. Why do I
and then
want to
also
say
he's
it's the
just like
power of us?
juggling the Jewel of Life as well. It was pretty nice.
Yeah, and that jewel must be heavy.
Yeah.
As well. But yeah, Ash defies the laws of physics with a lot of Pokemon films. Yeah, Team Rocket did nothing, and why you should always watch the credits. That's where the woman and the child was. Because
Yes.
it got to the credits, I was like, Joe, where's the woman and the child?
they
Where's the
showed
woman and the
characters-
child?
They show characters from the last few films.
And they showed characters for the last few films, wrapping it all up. And do you know what? What do you think of Pokemon films as like a trilogy that like link in? Do you want to see that sort of thing done again, or would you rather them just stand alone?
I think I would rather see them like that again because I feel like a lot of the standalone ones can become very forgettable.
Yeah.
That said, what I will say is, as
And they
a
can
trilogy,
like build up to something like Avengers.
Darkrai was really, really good.
Yeah.
Arceus was really, really good. This was really, really like Shaman was really, really bad. And in my opinion, Darkrai was probably the best. But this Darkrai had the better story, but this looked the most awesome. And some of the just seeing like Dialga and Palkia taking on,
And it wasn't
Arceus,
like
it was cool.
boring. It was like, okay, there's a misunderstanding. They went back in time. Joe had problems with the
Yes,
time.
I did.
The time
Because
continuity.
Ash was there as the prophecy. It's like, the person and the thunder creature.
But the prophecy was Damos
But-
and the Pichu.
Okay, if you say so. But that basically was hinting Ash, but that wouldn't have happened in that timeline, which caused Arceus to go...
Okay, so I will refer
Basically,
you...
there are two trainers with electric Pokemon.
No, I got you. But still, what I will refer you... I'll give you two answers for that. Number one is that the prophecy was not a prophecy, and actually it was telling of history of Damas and
Pichu. It's
Pichu,
the only way
and
it worked.
it got translated wrong.
Yeah.
Or simply, in the second movie, there was a prophecy about Ash. How did it know that Ash would appear one day to save the day? I mean, it's the exact same thing, just done over.
I mean, technically, in the Power of One, in the Japanese version, it wasn't specific to Ash. It was just saying a person will come and save the world, essentially.
Right.
But the dub
Oh, yeah.
changed that.
Yeah.
In a very clever way, might I add.
Mm.
I like the World War Times at Ash.
But yeah, the Darkrai film, good. Giratina film, bad. Arceus film, good.
Let me find
I
an
think
IMDb.
Darkrai, better one of the three. But I did like how they tied in. I did like the whole trilogy thing. I would kind of like to see a trilogy of films again. Like, we get a lot of one-offs, and I feel like if you have a trilogy, it can build up. I know it's hard to do trilogy with Pokemon as well because of game releases, and also every film's got to be enjoyable standalone. So kids that have not seen any other film
Okay.
can watch it without thinking, I've not seen the other one, I don't know what's going on. But overall, I really do like this film, and I
enjoyed
would rate it as definitely one of the best. Darkrai a bit better.
So
I don't
have
know why I would say that though.
Darkrai
but-
I have
has more heart.
Yeah.
IMDb reviews here, and there's someone that we've been following the reviews of actually, who specifically has been poo-pooing on a lot of the films. But they said, after the abominable Giratina and the Sky Warrior, I was expecting Arceus and the Jewel of Life to affirm this prejudice. As it turns out, the film has its fair share of flaws, but some considerable good ideas as well. That is a very generous thing to be said from the person who's been very negative. Other titles include Not a Mere Supplement. It's a must-see to complete the Diamond Pearl trilogy. The DP trilogy concludes on a highly disappointing note. We got there 5 out of 10. Thoroughly enjoyable, 10 out of 10 there. I would go with the, you know what, 6, 7 out of 10 is pretty good. I'm alright with it. I could live with it. It's fine. And battles looked awesome.
Oh yeah, that was cool. And like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of super big battles where like there
You
are
like
too many
Godzilla?
Pokemon. Yeah, Godzilla was good, but this was just palatable. The battles didn't go on for too long because that's something my eyes just roll after a while with long Pokemon battles. And the story was, I don't say logical, it just made sense and was interesting enough to hold my attention. So yeah, definitely one of the best, and I don't think I've seen anyone say that they really dislike this film, actually. Yeah, this film seems to be pretty universally... Like, I wouldn't give it a sideways thumb. I'd actually give this one a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Oh yeah, it's definitely leaning on the better side.
Definitely a thumbs up. And
there's only one more Sinnoh movie left.
Well, yeah, Zoroark Master of Illusions, which will be our next one, and it's not part of the trilogy, but it is Dawn, isn't it? Because we get our first look at Zoroark and Zorua. And I love those Pokemon. But they're not legendary, though. Which I feel like a lot of people thought that they were legendary because they were, like, part of a film. Like Lucario. But it's not a legendary Pokemon. But we can talk about that next time. And this is the awkward moment. Toby and Joe, do you remember when the next episode we're doing is? Because November. I want to say the first week of November.
Let me look it up.
I want to say November 1st.
This has been a very quick episode. We really got through this. Let's have a look.
It's what happens when Joe's not here to keep rabbiting on.
I have it written in as Friday the 2nd of November.
Well, that's not a Friday. It's the 1st.
Hang on.
2nd is a Saturday.
Ah, I see what's happened here. I thought that was 31 days. Well, is it Friday the 1st then?
It's Friday the 1st, and there is 31 days in October, Toby.
Wait, hang on. Now I'm very confused.
If he thought there were 30 days in October, then it would make sense.
No, there is. Of course it's 31 days. Hang on, I'm confused then. So, Wednesday the 31st, Thursday the 1st, Friday the 2nd?
No.
Halloween's on a
Halloween
Thursday.
is Thursday, Toby.
Well, my schedule is very wrong then, and I need to look into that ASAP.
Are you actually using a calendar?
No, either way, what date are we doing the...
hopefully Friday the 1st of...
Friday the 1st, sounds good. Sounds...
So 4 weeks today.
4 weeks today, sounds perfect.
That I'm pretty sure that's what we agreed. Sorry for the on-air discussion there, because
I don't know what I'm doing.
we are just so busy at the moment and things are getting away from us. Right, so next time it'll be the Zoroark and the Master of Illusions film, and I am really looking forward to that. And would, as always, would love to hear what you think in the comments, and if you're here live on Twitch, let us know in the chat.
Do you like me just looking at my planner, looking at a calendar, and not?
I just look at the right hand side. I click on the date thing on the bottom of Windows to bring up the calendar.
Yeah, that's so good.
You can find the Pokemon movies on various sites such as Amazon Prime, Google Play, iTunes, and Pokemon TV. You can buy them on Blu-ray and DVDs produced by Manga UK and Viz. Also, if you'd rather read the movie, you can buy the manga physically and digitally as well. If you're watching on YouTube, let us know in the comment section what you thought of this month's movie. Stick around on Twitch for the post show.
Woo.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Birdkeeper Toby.
Thank you for having me. I feel like I've been a bit passive. I'm so sorry. But next time, Zoroark movie. I'm all in.
Thank you, Sarah B. Joe. And thanks you guys again. And as always, leave a like on YouTube if you've liked this video, and press the subscribe button for more Pokemon videos. Bye!
See ya!